high pitched.
Hi, I'm Craig Jones.
And I'm Devin Jones.
We are Father-Son Review Team, and we saw John Wick 3, Chapter 3, PARABELLUM.
Parabellum.
Yeah, we saw John Wick.
Parabellum.
This kid is 12.
Why did I do that?
I don't know.
I just kept repeating
Dude,
Parabellum.
Stop messing around. Stop messing around.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
excited.
if you notice, we're not in our normal studio today because they're
Obviously they
they're
notice.
filming something in there. I don't guess. So, and if there's some lens flares coming from this light, I'm sorry.
We
It
can't
just
really
looks kinda
control
ghetto.
that.
But
Sorry.
because these lights are stationary, this is a podcast room, and we really can't change the lights in here. So it's kind of, and we're only going to do one camera today. We're not doing our switch. Our Chiron guy's not here. So basically, we're doing one camera today. We do apologize for that. We saw John Wick. Okay, can you just be in the show?
Yeah,
and
I
quit
am. This
taking
is
on-
me.
No, rein it in. Okay, now, if you've watched our show before, you know that we do a parent's guide, so that's what I'm going to do right now.
No question. Don't take your kids.
John Wick, like all the John Wick movies, is extremely violent, and this one they kicked it up a whole lot of notches.
I think that with each movie they kick it up with the violence.
Yeah, but this thing, I mean, there's stuff in here where
There's only like 2.
There's stuff in here where it's just not cool for any kid. I shouldn't even taken him, but
Mortal friggin' boy.
Listen, as a father, I've talked to him very many times about, what's real and what's not. And pretty early on, we established that because we're filmmakers, well, I'm a filmmaker and he's starting to be one with me.
Actor.
I told him when he was young how they do some of these special effects to make it look like it's real when it's not. But if you don't want to have that talk with your kids, I would say wait till they're like, 15, 16. It's extremely violent. It depends on the person. There's no nudity or sex in the movie. It's just all violence making it rated R. There's some swearing. Of course, there's a lot of swearing, but it's the violence that makes
really
it R.
They could easily make this movie just add in 2 more scenes of the same stuff, and it would be NC-17.
Maybe that I thought for sure, man.
Yeah. Because there's a scene where
hey, don't spoil it.
I'm just saying, but some stuff happens with the dude's eye, and when it's happening, I was sitting there they're not going to show that, and I was like, oh, they're showing it.
They did, and it's in a very kind of. It's slow the way they do it. It's very agonizing the way it's brutal, man. So keep that in mind. If your kids have seen the other ones, they'll be okay with this one. It's just that
if they haven't seen the second one, if they just saw the first one, then
I don't take this kid to see every R-rated movie. This one, I was like, okay. Because he saw the other ones, and I was like, okay, let's go. But honestly, though, this is not a movie for children, even though this 12-year-old has seen it.
I probably would have seen it even if you didn't take me.
Well,
anyway.
I'm a single dad. That stuff happens. He goes to the other house. I can't control what he says.
John Wick 3.
John Wick. But anyway, okay, so let's talk about the movie. How'd you feel about the movie?
So being the young little action-loving boy I am, this was awesome. It's gross, but I love playing Mortal Kombat and stuff. I love gross fake violence because it's cool.
And it's not real.
Yeah,
and people aren't really
if stuff like this
hurt.
actually happened in real life, I would probably cry.
Yeah.
But because it's fake, it's awesome. It's cool to see this stuff happen. I know some people may think I'm crazy now, but I like gory stuff like that. In Mortal Kombat, when I cut a dude in half and stab him in the face, it's cool.
Come back to the movie, please.
I'm talking.
I don't want to talk about Mortal Kombat. Talk about John Wick. Or I'm just going to start talking about what I think of it. Yeah.
John Wick. And, there were some times when it, surprised me. At the very end, a thing happens that surprised me. And I was like, nah. I, predicted that, nah. Something happens. And you think that... they make you, it's so realistic that you think that it's over. But I'm like, nah.
All right.
That wasn't a very good explanation because I'm not spoiling it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's the thing at the end where it's impossible. Basically, we weren't not giving away too much. They basically elevated John Wick to the level of being superhuman now. He's indestructible.
He wasn't. for the whole movie. Like, it was cool. He was taking some hard hits and scrap, and
Some
like
damage,
that's
yeah.
one thing I loved about these movies is that he's not like invincible. He's like getting his fingers broken and crap.
Yeah, but
like it's cool. But like,
but yeah,
that one
at
part,
the end of the movie though, he might as well be a god or something.
Yeah,
because
that's not something.
It's getting ridiculous. Yeah, you wouldn't live through that, and he's kind of getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
you could maybe be alive for like 2 seconds, but you'd be in a coma for those 2
Right.
seconds. So it's
Right.
not realistic. But I'm kind of glad that they did it because I was thinking the movie that the whole franchise was just gonna end in this.
Oh yeah,
one.
I thought this was like
But
a trilogy.
nah.
No, they got
ended it
some
with
more
one line,
coming.
just like, yeah,
Yeah,
boom,
Dude.
credits.
dude. Okay,
It's awesome.
don't tell people the movie just came out. Don't spoil. Don't be that guy that spoils the
I
movie.
want to talk about it.
So I'm gonna bleep that. We're gonna just bleep that
Just
out.
bleep
'cause-
through the whole
yes,
thing.
bleep. Okay.
Yeah.
But listen, so I'm taking it. You're leaning toward.
Yeah.
So what are you rating the movie?
I'm gonna rate this a bomb diggity.
Okay.
I loved all 3 of them. First one's still the best. Fun fact about the first one, they spent like, I don't know how much they spent, but they spent a lot of money to CGI some crap in the first movie. The dog like goes and poops in a garden.
Oh yeah.
And it's like CGI. And
Yeah, it looks fake too, but
Yeah.
it's funny though.
It is funny because
Yeah.
they made it like the emoji poop
shoot.
shape, and it's funny.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I mean the first one's the best. The second one is all right, and the third one's all right. I go to see these movies just 'cause they're awesome.
just for the violence, pretty much.
I mean, yeah, and I'm also curious about the story. I like the story.
Right.
You can talk about your verdict on that stuff later, but like, I like.
Yeah, someday I'll get to talk about
Yeah,
the movie.
someday,
Keep going.
eventually.
Sorry.
Yeah, hyped up. My boy Keanu Reeves is awesome at this stuff.
He is. He's good.
He's perfect for these roles.
Yeah, he really puts the work in
Yeah.
too. You can tell he's
Like, I know there's a place in Texas that he went to like train to film John Wick, and he did this 3 thing where he has a pistol, he shoots a bunch of stuff, grabs like an AR, shoots a bunch of stuff, grabs a shotgun, shoots a bunch of stuff, and he did it in like 10 seconds or something. It's crazy.
and
Go watch the video of
yeah,
Keanu Reeves training for John Wick in some Texas shooting range.
he gets into it, and then from his Matrix days, he learned how to
He
do
knows how
some
to do the
serious
wah,
kung
wah,
fu
wah,
from
wah.
from
So it's cool.
from Hong Kong masters of the art form. So he learned the real stuff.
Yeah, like Keanu Reeves, like I know he would try, like he's not like this in real life.
Yeah, he's
went
probably
up
he's
to
a
him.
pacifist. He wouldn't be trying
Yeah,
to
he would
beat
be
people
like,
up.
chill out, but he could probably kick your butt.
He's
Dude's skilled.
He's probably more in real life. He's probably a little more Bill than he is John. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Bill and Ted. Wait, no, he's Ted. He's Ted.
Yeah.
Isn't he Ted? So
Yeah.
Bill and Ted. So he's a little more Ted than he is John Wick in real life, but that's okay. I admire that he puts in so much work to these.
Yeah, he's really good at this stuff.
He also directed a martial arts film called Man of Tai Chi. It's pretty good. It's
I
pretty
like
good.
Keanu Reeves too. Like
Yeah,
I just
I do
like
too.
Keanu Reeves. He's a good actor.
He didn't used to be. He sucked when he was younger, man, but he got better.
Bill and
He's
Ted
he's
was one of my
good.
favorite movies for a long time.
That used to be the
Still
only
okay.
thing he could really play was dumb and stupid kid. But honestly, there was a movie called The Lake House. It's a drama. He really impressed me in that, and ever since then, he's been getting better. He's just like a good, solid actor now. He's
Yep.
really good.
I like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Keanu. And I like the parody movie with the cat. Anyway.
Yeah, Keanu.
We ain't
That
gonna
was
be talking
good.
about
That was good. All right, let me talk about the movie.
Yep.
And I know you're
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yes.
I know I can feel it now. If people watch this, they're gonna be tearing me up in the comment section. But I didn't really like this movie very much. Now listen, I'm gonna explain it. And by the end, if you pay attention, you're gonna be like, "Okay, Dad, that's all right." Okay. I loved the first John Wick movie.
Who doesn't?
Well, not everybody does, man. Shh,
it's a good
it's my turn to talk now.
Yeah.
You be the
But you're
heck
looking at
quiet.
me.
Be the heck quiet.
You're
I'm
looking
gonna
at me
turn your
so
mic
I'm
off. I'll just,
No, talking to
Listen,
you.
I need to explain this
I know.
so people. So
Yeah,
shut
talk,
up.
Talk.
Shut up.
Jump cut. Talk.
The anyway, I love the first film because it was this revenge flick about a dude who gets his dog killed,
Essentially, yeah.
and
There's more to it.
and
than
it's
just the-
silly,
yeah.
but I can accept a silly action film. I can love and I do. I love the first John Wick. I don't just like it. I love it. It is the bomb diggity to me, that first film.
Better.
But I liked the fact, and there is this weird little universe going on, but it's always off in the distance, kind of.
Yeah.
It's just sort of there. But the story is about him and this group of Russian mobsters that he has to deal with, and then there's the John Leguizamo role, and there's just all these little details about just him and his life, and the character development was really, really exceptional in that movie for a movie that's stupid. They really brought those characters in that first movie. And then the second one, I felt it was more about the world building than it was actually him. And I know people will disagree with me, but I thought it was more about building up this universe.
I slightly disagree. Not strongly,
slightly. They were like building up this world around him. And I think that world is ridiculous. I don't really like that universe. And then this one, they kind of doubled down on it, where it's like this movie is completely about that universe.
Well, I mean, this movie has to be.
It's completely about that universe and him just trying not to get killed. Whereas in the first one, it was character-driven, which I loved. The second one, it still had some of that character-driven, like his relationship between John Wick and the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy that Common played. You know who Common is, right? That was beautiful, the way they worked that out in that second movie. I thought that their relationship together as they're fighting and the way they're talking to each other, that was just awesome. But that movie I didn't like as much as the first one because it did kind of make the world universe building more important than Wick himself. And now this movie, it's all about the damn world, man. And the acting's kind of bad from some of the actors. And
Who?
Dude, we already talked about that. I'm not going to tell you who. Don't touch this. But it's the only reason I am going to give it worth the popcorn. The only reason I'm giving it worth the popcorn is because there are some very, very well done action set pieces in this movie. There's some stuff with some horses that I just was dying laughing because it was so funny to me. The stuff with the dogs that you've seen in the trailer, that stuff's really cool. There's this motorcycle chase with a horse, and it's awesome, man. Some of the action, I was a little weary on the just running around shooting where those long 5-minute scenes where he just boom 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 boom.
That's stupid. It's John Wick.
I know, chest head, and it went on forever. But I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm entitled, and I'm tired, and I'm tired of seeing it. Listen, and I'm tired of seeing it. I've seen it enough. But I don't get tired. I don't get tired of the hand-to-hand stuff. That was good stuff. There's a fight he has near the end with these two Asian guys that it's really well done. I mean, and the way, see, that's what I miss about how they were talking to each other when they were about ready to fight.
Yeah.
And during the fight, how they respected each other. That's what I loved about the first John Wick movie and some of the second. This one, you barely get anything like that. One of my favorite things in the entire trilogy of films is when, in the first one, when John Wick goes up and tells that doorman, why don't you take the night off? Because it's his friend. And he knows, I'm about to kill everybody here. Why don't you go home tonight?
Yeah.
That's what I wish they do more of that in these movies. They don't do enough of that for me. But I know I'm probably in the minority. Most people, if you love the first two, you're going to love this one. I don't love it, but I'm giving it, it's like I want to say a misfire because I really don't like this universe. I don't like the world. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
But there's enough, these action sequences, you really should see them on a big screen because they're very well done. I just don't like the story anymore.
And one thing
I like the story when it was a smaller scale. I don't like this international world of hit people and there's that table organized. That woman got on my nerves. I mean,
she gets on your nerves, but I don't have an issue with her.
She's supposed to, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just I don't take it. I know you're not supposed to take it seriously, but within the world itself, I'm supposed to buy that it's happening, and I just don't. Maybe the actors aren't selling it enough for me, or maybe the writing's not good enough, but again, I'm still recommending it because of the level of action is still better than most every action movie you'll see made these days. It really is made well, and Keanu's great doing this stuff.
He is.
Halle Berry's she's got some training too. She's pretty good in the movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish she would dial her performances back just a little bit. I think she'd be pitch perfect because sometimes she talks too tough, and whenever you see people that talk really tough, they're not really tough. So if she relaxed it a little bit, I think she would have been really cold in this movie. But there's some cold violence in the movie that does come off well. A lot of cool stuff with knife throwing near the beginning. And I was like,
that was like my favorite scene in the movie.
And
awesome.
the sound design is perfect. You know,
it is.
Because I don't know if you noticed this, but when they're throwing knives, when the knife hits somebody, it's really making a punching sound. It's not making a...
Yeah.
So the way they're doing it, it's just this heavy-handed block noises. That's not what a knife would sound like. But you don't care because it's really just hammering it home that they're throwing these knives with bad intentions. So, you know.
With that...
And it's because of that stuff I do enjoy enough of the movie. Like, when there's no action, I am bored silly watching this movie. I don't like it. I don't like the tone. That whole crap in the desert, I didn't give a crap about any of that stuff. And I know people will be like, but you don't understand.
Important.
It's supposed to... No, I don't have to understand anything.
It's
I didn't like
story,
it. You can like it. I don't. I think it's, you know, and you know how I am.
This
Anybody
is
who's
like 2 minutes long. It's fine.
Anybody who's watched the show knows that I'm the type of person to be like, if I don't like something, I'm not gonna get mad at you if you like it. You know, vice versa. If I like something and you don't, big deal. You know, because we're all different. It's just for me. The first movie had a sensibility and a charm to it almost. It's weird saying it had a charm to it when it was just him killing a bunch of people. But I really love the dynamic between him and all those characters. And here it just feels like, the first movie was character-driven. This is plot-driven, and there's a difference, and I don't really like it. That's what surprised me so much about that first film is that it really was character-driven with all this crazy, you know, gunplay, and the car chases were awesome. Yeah. This one, but see, I can't look at you with a straight face and say, don't go see this movie because it's plot driven. When there's that chase scene with the horse and the motorcycles, you don't get that anywhere. You
gotta see the movie. If you like action, go see this friggin' movie. It's awesome.
The thing with the horses in the barn. Oh my gosh! Stop! It reminds me of Jackie Chan, because Jackie Chan movies, the older ones, he would just use what was ever in the room.
Yeah.
And to fight.
It's funny.
And that's kind of what they do in this movie, but they do it with animals. They just use whatever's in the room to fight, and it's
like it's unrealistic, but
no. That horse thing, when they're in the stable, that wasn't unrealistic. That would happen. You could do that.
I mean, maybe I don't know. I think it would depend. I don't know. Hold up.
So horses get spooked. The horses get spooked.
Yeah, but I mean,
you could do that, man. We just had to cut a little bit because we were spoiling. Yeah. But no, that stuff they was doing. See, and this is why I have to give it a mild recommendation, because those moments are so funny and so joyous for me that I gotta say, the movie as a whole, no, I don't like it. I don't like the story. I don't like a lot of the acting. I don't like the writing. But those action sequences some of them are just amazing. I'm tired of seeing him shoot a billion people, chest head. I'm tired of seeing that. Except for, we won't describe it, but there is a brief sequence that happens underwater that is filmed extremely well.
It's gross, but it's awesome.
Yeah, but see, it didn't need to be. They didn't need to go that far with it. Whatever.
But so what? It was cool. but like, one thing about that scene is that it's so realistic. Like,
no, it's not.
Yes, it is. If you had a gun underwater and you fired it, it would drop you immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
The only way you can hurt somebody is if you have it like right up to their face.
Right. Yeah, so but if you shoot from in the water, just
and
but hey, don't say anything else about it.
I'm not gonna say that
because it was kind of sweet the way they did it. But I remember we did talk about this though. There are moments. This is how I'm saying it's plot driven, whereas the first one wasn't. There are moments in this movie where people could take him out.
Yeah.
When they're having these fights and stuff, and you notice, they're waiting. They're waiting for him to get up.
It's like,
or they're waiting for him to pick his sword up again. There are times where if they were really serious about killing this dude, they would have killed him. Because they had the opportunities, but they didn't because it's written that way.
I think that certain scenes like that are okay. Like when he's fighting, like there's scenes where he's fighting these Asian dudes, and like they respect him, and they get too cocky. They're like, he's old, we're going to beat him anyway.
I wasn't talking about that one. That sequence I liked. I'm talking about there's other times where it's not like that, but they just kind of let him regroup and let him win.
Yeah,
Keanu, because it's choreographed that way. John
does the same thing when he's fighting bad dudes too. Sometimes he'll punch them away and give them time. He just does. He could easily just kill them in 1 second, but he doesn't. He just lets them wander around for a second in pain.
But when there's a bunch of people and they're coming at him, and I'm like, okay, you see it as somebody who's not a fighter even. You're like, dude, he could have stabbed him. It's like obvious at certain moments. You were even talking about it.
But like, it's still cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that they do it, but they could have done it better.
At that point, the fight is plot driven.
Like, they could have
It's choreographed. Whereas in the first movie, I know I keep talking about the first movie. The first movie, I never felt like that. I always felt like the violence was character driven. Like, this character feels this way, that character feels that way, and when they fight, you see it. You see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it looked like a bunch of people doing some really cool fight scenes, but it doesn't feel. I never felt like it was real. I always felt like it was staged. Yep. And it is staged, but they're supposed to fool me, and they didn't.
And, like, there are two things I was going to say, and you cut me off both times. I don't remember one of them.
It's because you got to talk a bunch at the beginning, then it was my turn.
You cut me off in all the videos.
It was
you guys
my
know.
turn. It was my turn.
If I'm about to say something, even if it's my turn to be like, eh.
Well, you know why, though, right?
Why?
Because I'm your father.
So?
And you're my son.
I have the right to speak.
And you're not,
I have the right to speak in these videos.
You're not big enough or strong enough to be changing that dynamic yet.
But, like, anyway. So, like, the one thing I was going to say earlier when we were talking about the knife fight scene is that, like, there's no music. And I love that. How, like, it's just silent. The only thing you hear is screams and thuds of knives hitting into people's chests.
Yeah.
It makes it better. If you had, like, a in the background, it wouldn't be as good.
Yeah, because there are plenty of sequences in here that have music, but that is part of knowing when to. It's part of good filmmaking, knowing when to just let the sound of the moment be your soundtrack. Yeah. And not be throwing in music. A lot of people don't realize that it's action, put in music.
Yeah, you don't need to have music in every scene. Sometimes it makes it. I've been talking really fast for both of these videos. Like, you don't need to have music in scenes.
It's okay.
You don't need to have music in all your action scenes.
No,
it makes it, like, I enjoyed this scene better. It makes you, because, like, the music can, like, take your focus away from the actual scene. If there's nothing but just the knives, just the sound of the punches and crap, it's really cool.
It is. It's cool. It's like, somebody asked me that. We made a short film called Artzy that won some awards. The moment where, spoilers, where you're on the dock and I'm just doing these shots of your face, being sad, pretty much. People ask me, didn't you want to put music in there? But
it's better without it.
I know, but all the filmmakers I know, most of the viewers, they were just kind of like, that's so powerful at that moment.
Yeah, like you just
and the reason
scene.
The reason it's powerful, and I wrote the music. I make the music for our films, but I didn't want any music there because I just want it to be about you and there's like nature sounds going on in the sound design, but that's the way I built the tension for that scene. It's like, no, I want you to pay attention. I don't want you to be hearing some music. And then the music comes up later when my character shows up. And that's kind of what I wish more directors would do, and they did do that with this film. There are times where the music, I wondered if you would notice that or not, but there's times where the music isn't there and it's better without it. Then times where the music is there, of course. Like, I'm pretty sure there was music playing when they was running down the street with the horse and the motorcycles.
Probably,
but I don't know, man, because it was.
I've had voice crack 3 times through both these videos.
It's okay. It's okay. Your voice is changing. It's going to get dark. It's going to get deeper.
Cute.
But, I mean, I'm telling you, I don't like this movie, but I'm recommending it just because there are a few action sequences that are really cool.
Yeah, like, just go see the movie. Like, even if, like, you don't, I mean, there's...
I don't like the movie, man.
But, like, just see it for the action.
And I don't want to see another one. I'm done, man. Action.
I mean, like, if you're like this guy and you don't care about it or nothing, then just, like, wait for somebody to make a collage on YouTube of all the action scenes in the movie. So you just skip over all the important stuff.
I think there was a lot of potential and it just went away. The franchise went a place that I didn't want it to go. That's why. I liked it better being that character-driven drama, and now it's a world-driven, it's plot-driven. And now from the way they were talking at the end, I won't spoil it, it's going to be more of that. Now the fourth one's going to be all about the world and not about, I just think that world is stupid. I liked it in the first movie, though, because it was like this absurd little continental with the hotel, and it was absurd. It was there. Like when the cop came to his house, like, Mr. Wick, are you
Yeah.
Are you
You working
working again? You know,
Like,
I like
cool.
that because it was just mysterious off in its
And
own
it's
little
like,
element.
the whole
and
thing is that they own everybody.
yeah, and now it's so
cool.
big, and so it's like, I don't. It's almost like it's a government, and I don't like that. Oh, an assassin's government.
It's like, I can see where
Kiss
you're
my
coming
butt,
from,
man.
but
I don't want to see
like
that
it.
mess, man.
I like silly crap like that.
The adjudicator. They send an adjudicator to do. It's like, what? What are they gonna have? What are they gonna have? Like in the next one, have like an accountant come in? Like, you didn't spend enough of those weird coins we got. I was like, what? Come on, man.
We did not buy enough guns.
You know, it's like, come on, man. But I like Keanu Reeves. I like all the actors. Well,
There's
a
a
couple of them I didn't like, but
there's a Matrix reference in there.
yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the dang trailer for crying out loud.
Is it?
Yes, but I don't like the movie, but I think I can see why you would.
Yeah.
If you buy into this world and you like this big international assassin government thing they got, where there's like tens of thousands of members, then yeah, you'll get into it. I don't like it, so I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't like the movie. But if you really like action, go see the movie.
You know, honestly,
on a matinee.
Honestly, I'm waiting for like all the John Wick movies to be out, all of them to be done. Now I'm gonna wait for one of them cardboard boxes with all the Blu-ray tapes in there, and I want to buy it. I want to own all these movies. Tapes. I'm gonna watch my tape. You weren't even around for tapes at all. Tapes were done by the time you were born. Before.
I know, but by the time you were born, we were getting DVDs.
Bro, I want to buy the Stranger Things tape. They have that on VHS.
Oh,
Stranger Things.
We don't have a
Season 2.
VCR, man. How you gonna watch
Go
it?
buy one.
I'm not buying a
It probably ain't
VCR.
even that expensive. PS1 costs like $12.
They might be. Sorry for all the jump cuts, but we're not using 3 cameras today because we're not in our normal space. I'm just using the one, so it's gonna be like jump cuts.
Yeah.
But you're watching YouTube, so you're used to the jump cuts.
Yeah, big deal.
You know? But it feels good to be making these videos again, and we're actually somebody told me that because in our local market we actually are on television, but we haven't made an episode for the TV people to watch in so long. Person did come in here the other day and said, when are you guys going to put more? They keep playing the same episode because we're like Saturday at 7 p.m. We got a good time slot. I didn't know this.
It was funny. My sister was like sitting at home, and she told me that one night she like got home at like 3 a.m. or something and turned on the TV, and I was up there.
And there
she
you
was
were.
like, "That's Devin."
For our Be a Tourist in Your Own Town. That's on the channel too. You should watch it.
You can go watch that. That was a fun video.
It's like a little 15-minute. We went around town and we talked to a bunch of people. He, did his little reporter Devin about town thing. It's fun.
Yeah. It was fun filming too.
It's a nice family video that's nothing like a John Wick video, I'm telling you.
John Wick.
But anyway,
I want to make an action film. We should go make an action film. John Wick style. No story, just bah!
No story. There you go. No story.
No story, just shoot.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't like the movie, but I am gonna recommend it. He loved it because he likes that garbage.
I love all the movies. They're all good.
Yeah.
All of them are bomb diggities for me. I'm gonna make my own box, buy all the Blu-rays, make my own box that just has a big bomb diggity on it.
All this movie made me want to do was go
diggity.
watch the original and like that movie even more. These 2 sequels have made me like that first one even more because I see what a silly action movie can be. And I think the reason that movie, John Wick, the first one, has the legs that it does and people still love it so much is because it's character driven.
Yeah.
And also because the action is the bomb.
It's the bomb.
The action is amazing. And you never seen anything like it before, But it's, I feel bad because I don't like the movie, man. I don't. But if you love action, go see it. And there, I'm done talking about it. I'm done.
All right.
So are we done?
I suppose.
Okay.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
All right.
Jazz hands.